Welcome to Out There. I'm Papa Joey Stay.
And I'm Uncle Tim Rice.
In this series, we explore the unexplained
and the paranormal.
While I'm somewhat of a skeptic,
I'm a full-on believer.
Together, we take a deep dive into all things that could be considered out there.
We discuss everything paranormal, from ghosts and UFOs to cryptids and more.
Join us as we unravel the mysteries behind the stories
and decide for ourselves
if there is something more out there.
Antarctica, the coldest, windiest and driest continent on Earth, has long been a subject of fascination and intrigue. Its vast, uncharted territories and extreme conditions have led to a variety of theories and myths, including those surrounding the existence of extraterrestrial life and the secret base hiding their existence. On our next Out There with Papa Joey and Uncle Tim, with special guest Christopher Moule, join them as they seek to explore the enigmatic connection between Antarctica and the numerous reported UFO sightings and alleged alien bases around the world.
And then there they were. Oh, wait a second.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That's cool. Yeah.
No, thank you. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, everyone.
Well, so I got a notification as we went live that something went wrong with the our Facebook page. It's not streaming on our Facebook page. It is on Chris's,
That's
though.
Unusual.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube too. Guys, if you are watching this on the Ghost Squad Scotland network, could you please click on the link for this channel and come across to this channel, please? And subscribe to them. I'd really appreciate that if you subscribe to these guys, awesome guys, his channel. Let's get them to 1,000 subscribers, guys.
He's just saying that, but we are.
Hey, Lawrence and Denise and the Silly Rabbit.
Silly Rabbit, tricks are for kids.
We're so excited to have you with us.
Hey, Lawrence.
So, yeah.
Welcome, you guys. How'd you guys do this week, man? It's been a good week, huh?
It's been a busy week. Yeah.
Everyone's got a spring in their step. It's been a good week.
It's getting cold here. I don't know if it's like with you, but it's getting damn cold here. The snow is on its way.
Ooh.
Yeah, they say we have a cold front coming to Texas. So, I mean, we're in the 60s right now, but it's supposed to... I think we're supposed to have an ice storm again.
Oh dear.
Oh God. I'll have to get my front wheel drive sleigh ready for the snow.
Do you have a snowblower?
No. I've got a thing called a shovel.
Shovel. All right. You're the snowblower.
Yeah.
I'm the snow that I get and shove it. Nah, actually, believe this or not, the council usually come round and do the paths and stuff like that.
All right.
That sidewalks. You used to call them sidewalks, then we call them paths. Strange, you know. Yeah. But I'm going to say the new your show last night, Joe. Good show last night. I was watching it today. I couldn't comment last night because I was lying in my bed half asleep because it was late for me. But it was really interesting about the pyramid. Very interesting.
Well, the pyramid's been sitting up there, and it's like, who the hell is Charles Poston? You know?
Right.
But yeah, you learned a lot more. So it was interesting, fun. And I'm kind of teased today's episode on being just about Antarctica and alien bases, but we're going to go much further than that, aren't we?
A little bit.
Yeah. But we'll start with that. So let's see if this works. Here we go.
We're not going to win.
I don't know.
It's a placeholder. So I'm sorry I cut you off when you started to talk.
No, that's all right. We were waiting for Christine, but she'll be here shortly, I'm sure.
Oh yes, you bet.
People asking me questions. I don't know.
Silly rabbit.
It's quite interesting. The subject for tonight, I must admit. You know,
it is.
I looked it up. I tried to research it last night, but Antarctica in particular, there's not that many people been there, so it's complicated. There's no
It
that many
is.
pictures. But
And let
there
me
is-
ask you if you guys think the same as I do with Antarctica. I think it's kind of the hub of what's going on under the earth and with the bases.
I
Because
think
it's the only place that has the most restrictions, for as large an area as it is.
I think it could be the beginning, of civilization as we know it. I think everything started there.
It's very possible.
I mean,
See,
there's
it's
estimates.
interesting Tim says that.
There's estimates that it's like 34 million years old.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I saw that video with Linda Moulton Howe.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah, it
really
was like
cool.
The whole city that they found down there. It's about
They had some whistleblowers from the
34 million years old.
Yeah, they had some whistleblowers from the Navy SEALs, and there were two ways they accessed it. One, well, they did submarines, but one submarine, I guess, came up under the ice and discovered these 5-acre rooms. I guess you'd call them hangar, but they're not rooms. They're 5-acre, openings.
And Christine made it. Gotta say,
Hi, Christine. We are waiting on you. And so these whistleblowers, this is in 2012, and they came forward and said that these walls that are made, they're like 5-acre rooms, and the ceilings have no support beams, and it's a perfect 68 to 72 degrees at all times. And they estimate it to be 34 million years old. And there's so much that they couldn't tell, but I mean, that was enough, I think.
Did it sound like the walls followed you?
The walls, they said the light moved in the walls. They said the light moved with you. It was pretty interesting. We'll have to.
That was very.
If you just go to Antarctica, now what was it? What was the gentleman's name? I can't remember the gentleman's name. Let me look that up real quick.
Web.
There's the link in the chat to bring you over to their page that they're live on, guys. So if you click on that link, could all my subscribers and all my members please click on that link right now and come over to this amazing channel? See?
Please. Yeah. Was it Webb? Was that his name?
No, if you get a chance, go to YouTube and look up Antarctica Mysterious Facts with Billy Carson. And
that was really interesting.
That stuff will blow your mind. And I mean, I trust this guy. You see him on Facebook all the time. He talks about, the Anunnaki and early ancient aliens and stuff like that. But the stories and the information they have on that YouTube special, that documentary, is really, really cool. I suggest you go watch that. It's great.
Yeah. So who was it was an Air Force pilot that flew in?
Yes.
And then one came back later with
so Admiral Byrd started the whole expedition.
There you go.
And then eventually an Air Force pilot went over a restricted area. They had a wounded guy that was in a life-threatening situation, and they had to fly to get him, but there was an area where they couldn't fly over. It was restricted airspace, and there was a very high-ranked military official or general on board that gave him permission to fly direct to where they were going. And so they ignored the air restrictions and they went this route, and they flew over a huge hole in the ice. And they said it went down like miles and miles and miles, and there was daylight down at the bottom and everything. So that was one of the recorded incidents that happened, but I don't think it's been flown over again since then. But when the satellites fly over, when the satellites fly over, they automatically blur out all that.
Pixel it all out.
It's all pixel out, but the stories are incredible.
I find the Nazi implications quite interesting.
They did, and when Hitler discovered Antarctica, he sent his people out to Tibet and Indonesia and China. He sent his people all over the world to try to confirm, because he believed that everything came from Antarctica. So he sent his people out all over the world to different countries and different continents to get similar information to verify what they had found in Antarctica. And sure enough, they did. And I think 17 different countries have claimed Antarctica, but nobody really owns it. But it's just, man, it's amazing.
I watched a video last night on it, and it was about an hour and a half long, and it wasn't really conspiracy. It was all about Antarctica itself.
Documentary.
It was a documentary about it, and the scientists out there, and obviously they didn't show what was really going on. But I found it interesting, the resources, because the resources that's in Antarctica is meant to be twice the amount that's in the United States, even more. I mean, it's meant to have oil reserves, gas reserves, gold reserves,
plutonium
reserves.
Plutonium and uranium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it could, the reason they have the uranium and plutonium, and they believe that it could be, and mercury, and they believe that it's easier to process these minerals there because of the environment, and it's very, very special to like weapons manufacturing, and the amount of mercury. Yes. Mercury is incredible, and the plutonium and uranium and mercury they have found there that has been silenced is just amazing too.
That's unique because it's the driest continent and the coldest continent. So
at once, yes.
Oh yeah.
The mercury is very interesting because obviously we know about the pyramids and we know how there was mercury used in the pyramids.
Yes,
people think that they were
some of the largest
power source. Yeah,
and Antarctica has the largest pyramids recorded. And it's thawing, and they're finding more information every day.
Yeah. When we going? We need to go with the 3 years. I think we can go.
Yeah, I think we're living in an interesting time. It's gonna be fun to see this reveal.
It's coming out, and it makes you wonder if that's. I mean, they say there's always the conspiracy that minus 57. That's a bit chilly, but there's the conspiracy that Hitler fled to like South America, right? But what was if he didn't flee to South America? What was if he fled to Antarctica? Because that's what a lot of the submarines that went to Antarctica then went to South America were scuttled off the coast. A lot of the Nazi U-boats were scuttled off the coast of South America.
Well, Admiral Byrd came back after he claimed to have been, he went to this area and there were 2 ships that guided him in and landed, and he met the people and he was educated on everything about that. And then he was allowed to leave, and he went back, and then he ordered an expedition of 3,000 people to go back. And when they went back, there was altercations, and they like blew up their ships, and they had a horrible fight, and he was never able to go back. And they called the guy in charge down there the master. And if you go look at the story that Admiral Byrd tells, it's amazing. I mean, nobody really, I mean, you don't read that in history books and anything like that. But if you get a chance to go and read his diary, he wrote a diary in his everyday occurrences down there. It's amazing. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and you mentioned about submarines there, Chris. I know one of the stories that I heard was that the submarines that entered into this city in Antarctica were entering in from 200 feet below or whatever, and coming up without having to decompress. And that made me think of the movie The Abyss.
Right.
Remember when they rose them out of the water there at the end? I mean, they didn't have to decompress and all that. So where do they get that information at? Or those ideas?
Whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Whistleblowers. There was one case that I actually heard about this a long time ago. Remember when, what do you call that wearable item? Obviously, the Apple Watch now, but remember when it first came out, was it Fitbit? You kind of think it was like a band, and it had a GPS tag on it. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? And it was like all the medical people had them, and you could tell where people went to your heart rate. It's when they first came out, it was like the medical band. But it also had GPS. Fitbit, that's what it was. Like when that first came out, that was the first smartwatch type of thing. And this is going back to like 2010, 2012.
2010
and 12. And you could actually you could actually go online and you could see where people were on the map on the Earth, right?
Right, real time.
But there was a map of Antarctica, and it showed dots going up and down, moving about. But where the map was, it was in the middle of Antarctica.
Yeah, the very center, under the ice.
But here's the interesting fact: they were underground, and they found out that it was U.S. military, and they were wearing them, and they didn't realise they forgot to obviously, turn that off, and it was still to this day you can look it up and you can see where they've all been moving about the map. It's absolutely so interesting.
Right. It shows their tracks and where they were and altitudes and time durations and it's amazing. The story's amazing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's like on the map, if you to go there right now, all you would see was mountains and snow. There's nothing. Where they were was inaccessible, meant to be. And what they found out was it wasn't on the surface. They weren't on the surface.
No.
They weren't on the surface. They were under the snow. They were
everything
under the
is
ice.
Under.
What? How deep is the ice? What is it 2 miles deep in some places?
3 to 5 in some places.
Wow. You think what's under there?
Everything.
Yeah.
I think the beginning of the beginning.
I'm getting texts. Does that come through on your end? You're hearing the ding?
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
hear the ding. That's not me.
I hear dings all day long, so it's all right.
Strange noise.
No, but I think the stories about them flying into the opening and then the ship seizing their craft and then guiding them in and landing, that's amazing. Any normal aircraft, I would think military could fly in and out of there, would be intercepted by them. So it's not really been recorded by whistleblowers. And I think there's only been a few that have been able to get inside the ice, but it's like a huge metropolis, a city, and like there's like daylight and jungles and.
I actually know somebody that's been to Antarctica, believe it or not.
Oh yeah,
and they were a student. They're a student. I can't tell you what the day, but they were a student. No, they're not a student anymore, but they're like a geologist kind of thing, right? And they went there. It was a holiday. They had to pay for it. It was $26,000 they had to pay each. And see the problems they had getting there. They landed because they had to fly it like South America, and they had to go down, and they had to fly here and fly back. Every time they went out, then they were transported to a ship for a plane, and then they were transported for a plane to another, for a plane to a ship to another ship, and taken to the base, because you can only go to the base.
There's only 7 areas you can fly there as a civilian.
Yes.
7.
Yes, and he says, do you know that while they were there, they were scientists, and while they were there, they were watched like hawks. There was a team of people came with them, and they thought, oh, they're just like other scientists. No, they were military. And they would follow them about everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And you weren't allowed to wander away. If you wandered away, they were after you straight away. And they did the excuse saying, oh, you'll freeze and you'll not feel well and you'll die, hypothermia and stuff like that. But I definitely think it's going to come out. And you can yourself, Tim, all the disclosure that's happening in the news and stuff.
Yeah, I think we'll see it. I think we're going to see it. I really do. I think in our lifetime, I really, really believe we'll see it.
I really hope so.
So
Obviously,
Joey and Chris and I all know about this House committee hearing today on UFOs.
yeah.
And Luis Alessandro, he's one of the witnesses, and there's a Mr. I think Mr. Goat and another gentleman. They're all high-ranking military or ex-military or whatever. So they're questioning him in Congress today, and they're asking him all these questions. And when Chris first said, "Hey man, it's on," I said, "I know, I'm watching it." And then I started watching it, and I said, it's really a nothing burger. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to divulge any information. They're not really going to come over. But you know what? They can't. But I believe Congress and maybe the new president is going to act where we do get this information. And I think it's important. They don't want to share this information because they feel it will jeopardize the security of not just the United States, but of the world. And they don't want people to panic. And I understand that. I was an advocate for that for a long time. However, I think the sooner we know, the sooner we understand, the sooner we deal with it and comes to grip with it, the sooner we
transcend,
excel, achieve. I think it's important to do that. I mean, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, no. But I think we're right at the point where it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I do think there is the religious thing out there. There has got to be religious people out there that's going to go nutty.
It's going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit.
It's going to take a hit. But to be honest with you, and I'm going to say this to now, it needs to happen. I know people might freak out and stuff like that, but it needs to happen because then we'll stop killing each other on this planet and we'll maybe start working towards something else, you know?
Yeah. That happened to me.
Working towards...
I was religious. I'm an ordained minister. I grew up in church all my life, believing what I believe. And when it happened to me in 1995, and then I became non-religious anymore, but spiritual, it happened to me. And it was an awakening, but I can't imagine everyone going through the same thing I was going through at the same time. So now I think it's a little more, it's going to be a little easier, but for me, it took a toll on me. I can't imagine everyone finding out what I found out at the time I did. So it's, I think we're desensitized, and I think we can handle it now for the awakening and the enlightenment. But I was enlightened, and I'm glad I've been enlightened. And I think it's time for everyone.
See, a lot of people are saying, why did they not come out with this sooner? It's because they've been doing deals behind their backs for a long time with other extraterrestrials. God knows what deals they've done, giving away humans. We don't know that. And I bet you this comes to light. And I think this is like the black government or whoever they are that run the UFO thing. I don't think they're actually worried about people finding out and going mad because religion. Yes. I think people are actually afraid of people finding out what they've been doing, and they've been trading technology for victims.
Oh yes.
Basically. Yeah.
Joey.
I mean, it could be something that could unite the world, you know.
I don't want to see religion fail.
Not right away, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see religion and government fail as we know it. I don't want to lose. But that was the fear back then. They thought that reveal would just completely devastate religion and government and rules and authority and power. Back then, they thought if we knew that, if we found that out, we would lose respect, control, for religion, for government, for other higher powers, because there's something that's much bigger in charge. So, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see religion dissolve. I don't want to see government dissolve. I don't want to see any of that stuff. And that's what they were afraid of back then. I think enough people who are spiritual right now that we can still keep our government, keep our religion, and still be aware that we're not alone.
But do you know what they're afraid of the most? And it's power, it's control. It's control.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You think
it's all
about it. There's
power.
extraterrestrials that's been visiting us for thousands and thousands before we were here, right? They've got technology where they could power cities, entire continents.
And each
with
person
clean,
on this
free
planet
energy.
has a gut feeling in the back of their mind
Yeah.
that this is real. So it's not like a
Of course it is.
complete shock. It's just they don't want to lose their Sundays at church. They don't want to lose their normalcy. They don't want it to affect life as we know it. And I don't want that either.
I mean, I've been watching stuff like this for a long time. And you think about it, and extraterrestrials that come here, they say, right, we're here to help you. We're going to start saving the planet. They've got technology, right? They've got technology where they could power the entire planet for next to nothing, right? Clean, free energy, right?
But it's all about power.
Then, here's interesting. This gets released, right? And then we'll start asking the questions to the people that have been dealing with these for, say, 100 years, because let's face it, the government have been swapping humans for technology. Why have we not been implementing all this clean, free energy? Why have we been wasting money on stupid windmills and stupid things that don't work? Why
Control and power.
It's control and power, and they're only interested in being better than Russia or being better than someone else, having more powers, because they've probably been getting deals for like technology to make stealth aircraft.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. The energy sector, the pharma sector, the big oil, big gas, big everything, big government is afraid to lose the power.
Yeah.
But you can't lie to people forever. It's eventually something's got to give.
Yeah,
and it's a good
well.
thing. Elon Musk could take us to a different level where we could all, I think we could all adjust. I think we could handle it now.
Well,
years ago we couldn't.
He's letting on. No.
I think we can handle it. They just can't handle it.
They can't handle giving up the power and the control. Yeah. You're right. That's right, Joey.
Yeah.
It's not about us.
No.
What does a billionaire worry about the most?
Losing his money.
A billionaire?
Losing power and control.
Losing power and control.
And if everybody's equal, that's going to suck for all the big deep state and the big wigs, and they don't want that. But you know what? We could all be equal so quickly and have a wonderful planet. And they just want control. They don't want that. And I think it's going to have to eventually just happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's going to be a panic. The only panic is going to be those people that are every day falling out of power. I think it's transitioning into that.
I think it would be more of a transformation from those types of things. I mean, if say energy was free, so all the people that are wealthy from energy, they're going to fall from grace, but I don't think if you say, when you put it, that would all be equals and everybody have everything, that sounds like communism kind of me. So I still think people can still advance, but the advancements will be in different areas, technology will change. So
there's got to be structure. And order.
But then you've got the pharmaceutical industry. You've got the health
they
industry.
should eliminate, just like the Department of Education. That should just go away.
They just need to eat right, and then
and
it'll eliminate a lot of these stuff.
The drugs
rebuild our food structure, rebuild our diets, rebuild everything, and get rid of all the poisons and all the toxins. And start over. So there was a story that an alien came down on the planet and had a conversation with a human, and he was like, so tell me about Earth. He goes, well, I go to work, I do this. He goes, wait a minute, you pay to live on this planet? And he goes, well, yeah, everybody does. He goes, why would you pay to live on a planet? That makes no sense at all, because It's basically mafia. It's organized crime.
Yeah.
Interesting concept. Yeah.
Why do you pay to live on a planet? Why do you pay to be born? Why do you pay to live?
I know.
Because we're brainwashed from the people that are in power.
Yeah. You can't do that.
Tesla was on his way to make free electricity for everyone, and they couldn't handle that because they needed power on it. So they took him out and they stopped all that and they hid all that information. Somebody wants to be that Dr. Evil and be in charge and have control. But what they don't understand is you cause more friction and confusion by living under that authority than you were if you were just free and didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Why aren't we all running around naked having everything we want and nobody has to pay for anything? I mean, that was the plan. That sounds
because
weird.
You get greedy people that do. It did sound weird, that actually. But here's the thing. You're always going to have somebody in society that wants more. Obviously,
it's power.
The races out there that are probably watching this planet, that are probably watching this transmission, they're thinking, God, how have they lasted so long like that? How have they lasted so long? And there's Tim saying we should be running about naked. You know,
we did.
There's
some places that still do, and they're happy people.
Yes, they're very happy people, but there's always going to be somebody that wants more.
Yes,
and that's the problem. We have to get rid of the fact that there is billionaires and trillionaires out there. Everybody goes on about Elon Musk being a great guy and what he's all doing and that, but is he really such a great guy? He's one of the he is one of the world's richest men, right?
I know, but you know what? I don't really think he cares about money right now. I don't think he cares about money right now. I think he cares more about saving humanity and making everybody happy. I think he's had his money, and I don't think that really concerns him anymore. I think his concern is making a better world to live in. Because he gives up a lot of money. I mean, he didn't have to do Twitter. He didn't have to do a lot of things he's done. So I don't think it's about the money. I think it's about him wanting us to live happier and freer and easier.
Yeah.
And he's not the guy that wants he's not the king. He's not the guy that wants power. He's not the Dr. Evil. I think he's more of a savior, if you want to look at it like that.
What's that in the chat? Oh, hey,
Hi, Julie.
Good to see you. But I wonder when it'll happen, because disclosure's got to come first. So it makes you wonder.
So true.
Do you think they'll release it in one go? Do you think they'll release all the evidence about aliens, extraterrestrials coming?
It's all coming.
A couple of years down the line, and then a couple of years down the line, they'll release all the stuff about Antarctica and the secret technologies that have been hidden over the years. And then a couple of years after that, they'll arrive in the land and they'll all come out.
I predict in the next 4 years, we are going to have a revelation, a awakening like we have never, ever seen or expected.
Yeah.
I think all of the lies are going to be exposed. All of the secrets are going to be revealed. I believe there's a big change coming. And I'm so, like I tell Joey and everyone, I'm so glad that I'm here to be witnessing it and being a part of it. But it's here. I'm excited, and you guys should be too. Everybody should be excited for what's about to happen. I lived my whole life hiding this, not talking about it to people because I didn't want them to think I'm crazy. And now everybody gets to know, and I'm so excited about it.
Yep. You'll go down in history. History is one of the people that knew before because you had your UFO experience.
Right. And I don't have to I don't have to do these podcasts anymore.
No, you're going to have to get into something else. You're going to have to get into something else. Like
I'm going to document it as
cooking
it's
or
happening.
something
I'm going to
like
be a reporter on it, but
Now we'll be interviewing aliens.
yeah,
soon,
absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to do one next in sometime in Saturday in November. A contactee. Sorry about my dog.
That's right.
Maybe must be like you, Tim.
It's Amazon.
Her whole town
Nah,
thinks she's
mine's
crazy.
the same.
But if anyone
Look,
thinks I'm crazy, I'm glad. I'm happy. I hope you think I'm crazy because at least you're thinking. And if you're thinking, that means you have a chance for the awakening.
I used to tell people, I used to say to people, and people would say I was mad, right? I would say, like, listen, I says, they're spraying us with stuff because they are spraying us, the geoengineering and stuff like that, the planet. And oh, no, they would never do that. They would never do that. No, they're actually coming out and saying they actually are doing it. They're actually coming out and saying they're doing it. And they used to go on about, obviously, the spiritual aspect of stuff because they did the tarot readings and psychic stuff in that. And folk were, oh, there's no such thing as life after death. There's no such thing as life after death. But the mere mainstream gets into it, and the mere like scientists come out and say, oh, well, something does happen. People are starting to wake up and say, maybe it's right. Maybe something does happen.
Well, I think something,
UFOs.
Yeah, something very, very interesting happened this last week. Common sense prevailed, and we have lost common sense. How many years? I've been saying for maybe the last 5 to 10 years, common sense is not very common anymore. Common sense has gone away. I thought. What I'm seeing is common sense is coming back. And you can't sit here as a 6-year-old person and look around at where I've been and where I am now with all the technology, with all the changes and everything. You can't sit here with my head in the sand saying, there's a reason.
No.
There's a reason this is happening. And common sense makes me acknowledge that. Fear and power keep me from thinking about it. And I refuse to do that anymore. It's common sense. You cannot look around and see the technology in front of you and don't think for 1 second that this is much more involved than what it is. You just can't do it. And if you don't have if you don't have common sense, that you're going to be left behind. You're going to be the problem. You're going to have problems.
Yeah.
You've got to wake up.
Yeah.
You know what one of the problems is, I think? Too much education.
Our schools, and
wrong
colleges,
or what they call education.
Yeah.
Takes away a lot of people's common sense.
Yes,
it does.
It did.
The
Programming,
things
brainwashing, programming, power, control. Common sense is gone. I mean, when we had lawn darts, we knew how to use them. It was common sense. You get the hell out of the way of the dart coming down with a steel metal tip. Nowadays, you can't sell those because people are stupid.
Oh, it's quite funny here. I mean, you can in our school system now, kids actually wear goggles and all that kind of stuff now when they do PE and gym or whatever it's called, and helmets and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't wear helmets.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day of all those kids riding around in the 70s without helmets, without
Jesus. I felt
air protection, without all this.
Our playground gear was a lot funner because it was
it's programming.
A lot taller.
I put slip and slide on a concrete sidewalk. That was freaking awesome.
slip and slide out.
You can't do that today because kids are too stupid. Here, watch this. I'm going to try something that's not common sense and do something that I shouldn't do and get hurt. We lost it.
But they don't teach like they should teach at the school. I mean, I can remember when I went to school, I was taught about like geography and stuff like that, and we were taught about volcanoes, and we were taught about islands and how the continental plates worked and all that kind of stuff. And now they don't teach that anymore.
No.
It's so how to use your iPad or stupid things that you will never, ever need in your entire life.
I knew we lost it when we lost cursive writing. I knew we lost it. I knew it was over.
a lot of things.
A ton of things, yeah.
I mean, but yeah, cursive writing went away, and
Tonka chunks were made out of steel, and now they're made out of composite because too dangerous to make them out of steel. I never got hurt from my Tonka truck.
I
and
know.
then they're taught to not worry about winning because we're all winners.
Right. And when I was a kid and I went to a swimming pool, they didn't have to write on the shallow end, no diving. They didn't put warning labels on hair dryers saying don't use in a bathtub.
I know.
If there has to be a reason those things exist, because we've lost common sense and we've got to get down to the basics.
I know.
Get our heads out of Hollywood and out of non-reality and get back to ground on earth.
Good for you, Christine.
Good for you, Christine. That's awesome. Yeah. So if I have to write something or write a note and hand it to Allison so the kids can't read it, I just write it in cursive. They have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
We're all being poisoned for sure.
And shorthand is gone. Do you realize that? Shorthand is completely disappeared.
Yeah. Well, technology's taken over, because you got, I get it backwards, voice to text, capabilities now.
And that's okay.
So that's why no one needs to be taking shorthand because they can get all that. But it's a lost art. My mom was really great at shorthand. I know.
Yeah, my mom did too.
Fun to watch. It was like, what the hell are you writing there? Right? Chicken scratches, but she could read it. Denise still does shorthand.
I think technology has ruined common sense in a way. Do you agree with that? It's affected it. Because now you can't just ask a kid a question and he has to research it. He just goes to Google and gets the answer. So, yeah. But the unfortunate thing is the answer he gets from a Google may not be correct. Whereas if you ask a kid, he got up out of the mud and he came, when I was 5 years old and I got up out of the mud and I got mud started drying and I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Well, no, I shouldn't have done that, but it was fun while it happened, but I won't do it again. And common sense, the lack of common sense will make somebody go back and do it over and over and over again, because technology will show you how to get out of that, how to clean yourself off so you can go do it again.
Yeah, so you learn more from the school of hard knocks than anything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And literally farm lady. Oh.
But that's the thing. She still does shorthand. That's cool.
See, I don't know if this is happening in the US for you, but over here in the United Kingdom or Scotland, they're wanting to get rid of all the farms. They want to close the farms down.
Yeah, they were trying that here.
And also what they're doing here is, and again, this is off the subject, and that secret bases and stuff like that. But they're taking they want to take everybody's fuel, take cars away from them, because it's this agenda 30-30 thing, and they're saying that in the next couple of years, people will be they'll only be able to eat what they're allowed to eat. So it's basically, we're not going to be taken away, but in actual fact, I've got to be taken away. In a way, see with the system they know with kids, I don't know what it is. I think they want the kids to be stupid. I really do. They want technology to do everything for them, because you're relying on technology. At one time, the United States and the UK, we used to make everything ourselves. See, my village, we had 2 coal mines. We had the steel works. We had everything, right? Scotland and England, we produced our own coal. We produced our own steel. We had our own engineering firms. We could make anything: ships, cars, anything. What does the UK export now? Tourism. Right? So, and it's going the same way for the United States. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got a new president now that might keep it for the next 4 years, but after that's gone, what's going to happen? Yeah. What's going to happen?
I'm just going to be an advocate for common sense from now on.
So UK will start buying their energy and gas from us instead of Russia.
Right. And we'll start
What-
using it instead of buying it from Iran and Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. And prices will go down and things will get better. And manufacturing jobs will come back to America. And we'll start doing things common sense again.
Your mom agrees with you, Tim.
Is that your mum?
That's my mom. Hi, Mom. My common sense has kept me safe from all the harm that I've experienced and all the things I've gone through. Yeah, she's exactly right.
Yeah.
But again,
World
I'm not
is changing.
Change.
It is changed. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Kids
yeah.
can't count change back.
Maybe we'll get our common sense back again. Maybe we'll go through like a revolution. Once the aliens come, maybe we can try and live normal lives without killing
Yes.
each other and using too much. I will say this: the new we use too much plastic.
See,
That's just ridiculous. See the pollution.
I think the alien revelation will teach us not to see color. I think it'll solve so many problems.
Yeah.
And we will love to learn. We'll learn to love each other for we're a species on this planet instead of what color species we are. And I think that will be one of the biggest benefits of learning all of this.
You're going to have the odd few that's got to go after the purple ones and the green ones and the blue ones. And you're going to have the odd few that are racist towards because they're just a different colour. Let's face it, you've got them in alien civilizations have probably had the same problem. We need to try and grow out of the position we're in, and we need to stop being racist and completely, because I think it's terrible the way the world's going. I mean, it's all this diversity stuff.
It's people wanting to be in power and control. And it's big everything, big government, big pharma, big food, big. I mean, they're poisoning us right in front of our faces. Yeah. If you get a box of Lucky Charms and read it, it says PFT, and if you go down to Home Depot, there's a bottle of PFT in the chemical section that you can't handle without a mask and rubber gloves, and it's in our food.
Yeah,
common sense. If you see this stuff in your food, don't eat it.
I'd still like to do a show on that with Chris. You know, let's make up a shopping list of things that we can bring to the show.
I can't imagine the difference.
So we can compare the ingredients of American foods as opposed to European foods. I think that would be very interesting.
Chris's McDonald's fries has 3 ingredients. Ours has like 16. I mean, we should do that one time.
Your chicken's free range, and yours comes with like bleach and all that injected into them and stuff.
Yeah, we have food coloring that we use
that has a parasite in it, even. Or
that makes it red. Yeah. And then there's like 140 countries that don't use the ingredients that America uses. It's banned in their countries.
It's like Skittles. Your Skittles are illegal here.
Yeah, common sense. Wake up. But pretty packaging and pharma and advertising and Hollywood and movie stars and music and all that stuff have just diluted our minds. And TV.
Oh yeah. I mean, what's that? White buffalo calf. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to learn how to not repeat our history.
Yeah, history repeats itself. We need to learn from our lessons,
but we don't.
I think we're getting there. I really hope. I see a light at the tunnel. That
so what is it? 7th or 8th time is the charm. In civilizations, they say have existed on this earth.
Yeah, this ain't my 17th rodeo. You know, how many rodeos do you have to have before you finally get it?
At least one more.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that food and stuff has definitely changed in my country since the 80s, because obviously I was born in 1981, and I love candy. right? I'm terrible for it, right?
I love candy.
And see candy now, it's disgusting. It doesn't even taste good
No,
anymore.
it's all artificial.
Because
It's
they're
not
taking out,
real.
they used to use like real sugar. They used to use like real
They used
stuff.
to use
and that.
pomegranate seeds. They used to use
Aye.
natural organic flavorings to make things sweet and tasty. And now it's just all chemical.
Yeah. And it's like sugar-free stuff.
And everybody's
I would
autistic
drink
and everybody's
that.
got diabetes and everybody's dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really upset about this. Can you tell?
Yeah.
I'm done. I've had it, man. I've had it. It's time for people to wake up. Common sense has got to come back, man.
Come and save me.
Common sense has got to come back at some point. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to start a show called Common Sense, or I wanted to do a show about things you'll only do once. You know, you hear that expression all the time. They'll only do it once. I want to write a book. You only do it once. There's so many things we should have only done once that we just keep repeating and keep doing, and it's because of a lack of common sense. When I was a kid, my mom, she'll tell you, I was in my bedroom and I took one of her hair barrettes and I stuck it in the outlet, and it went pow, and she didn't tell me not to. She just watched me do it. But guess what?
Yeah.
I never did it again.
Did that again.
So she didn't have to childproof it. She didn't have to yell at me and scream at me and protect me. She just let me do it once. And that's what we all have to learn. Learn from your mistakes. Common sense has got to be, I've done that before. You try to eliminate saying hindsight's 2020. That's what I've done in my life. I don't say hindsight's 2020 anymore, because every step I take, every move I make, every thought I have, every decision I make, I think about the outcomes, and I make a right decision so that I don't ever have to say hindsight's 2020 again. And we all need to strive to do that. And that's how you obtain common sense.
I need to do better at that.
It's hard.
I get impulsive sometimes.
You know, it takes a motorcycle wreck. It takes takes almost dying 9 times for me to, finally get it. And I don't want to be a preacher to anyone. I just want to tell you, dude, if you use common sense and you eliminate saying hindsight's 2020, and you don't worry. 70% of the things we worry about never come to pass. So if you can get rid of worry and concentrate on one day at a time and happiness and making today the best day you can be. And now I don't step over doggy gates. I go around them, but I've learned that lesson for me, and that's okay. And some people will learn that eventually. But once you've learned common sense and hindsight 2020 and not worry and just live day by day and trust in your universe and wake up happy and make the day the best you can, there's not going to be many problems for you.
Yeah. You will avoid
our problems.
A lot of grief.
All right, what's our next topic?
Yes.
Well, we didn't get out of Antarctica. Let's see. Let's talk about other bases.
I'm sorry. I'm just so frustrated to watch all these other people suffering and hurting and running into walls and falling and not achieving anything. And it's a freaking choice, man.
You talked about one of these bases, so this will cut off our sound when I play it, but
that's right.
Here's the next one.
There we go.
All right. Go ahead and start yours, and I'll tell you about mine. And Chris, do you have any?
No.
There's no secret hidden bases in Scotland or UK or Europe or anything you know about?
The only bases we've got, there's meant to be one. There's a submarine base where obviously the nuclear submarines are, right? But there's meant to be something else hidden in that area that's office secret. But a lot of people have said it's a secret base. It's where they keep the nuclear weapons. I researched it and they say, there's strange lights at night. No, It's Black Hawk helicopters patrolling the area because there's
Right.
nuclear weapons in a bunker underneath it. So that's why it's in Scotland. There is down south in England. I know that. I know there's some down there.
Yeah, I really didn't have one other than we talked about it last week a little bit in the Superstition Mountains. I believe there's something in there too.
I agree.
So let's hear yours, Tim.
All right. So a long time ago, back when the internet first came out, I used to after my sighting, I started researching all this stuff, and I found a list of alien bases on Earth. And then it narrowed it down to alien bases in America. And it had a list of all these bases in every state and how many ships they had, how many aliens were there, how many transport ships, cargo ships, attack vessels, how many hybrids and how many humans. It had a meltdown of how many people and how many ships and everything were on these bases and where these bases were located. And they were everywhere. They were in Mount Lemmon and Tucson. They were in Sedona. They were in Flagstaff. There was one in Williams. And that was just Arizona. And then if you went to other states, you could see all the other states, and it would list how many vessels and how many. And I'm like, wow, that's really, really cool. And I don't know why anybody would list all that. And I didn't think a whole lot of it back then, other than, wow, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. Nobody really, I mean, that didn't make headline news or anything. It was just for people that went to look for that information. And you could take it with a grain of salt, whether you believed it or not. I at the time, I was skeptical. I really thought maybe that did exist. So in 1990, I think I told Joey it was 89 or 90. I think it was in 1991. I had a 4-day trip with with a pilot, and we went down to the bar and had a few drinks, and he was ex-military, and he told me a story about, didn't tell me where it was. And he told me they have UFOs there. They're reversing technology. They're doing all this stuff. And so I kept going back at him. I'm like, oh, why can't you tell me where it is? Why can't you? He goes, oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. So we were like button heads and going back and forth. And I was skeptical, thinking, no, he's full of crap. And, you know, the more he drinks, the more he talks. And so I said, so it's not White Sands. It's not Alamogordo. It's not. And I listed all the places I knew in New Mexico. He goes, no. Nobody really knows about this base. It's not common knowledge, but I will not disclose where it is. I got him down to saying he's not going to tell me where it is, to where he said, all right, it's in New Mexico. And so I've lived with that information all this time, and the stories he told me about all the things he was sworn to secrecy on, and that he got to witness, and the huge semis that were going down into the tunnels underground of this mountain in New Mexico, and how the mountain was made out of this, I forgot, some sort of really, really hard granite, this material that was impenetrable. And so he told me all this stuff, and you know, I remembered that forever and ever and ever. And then the other day I saw a special about secret bases in America, and it talks about this base. Do you have a picture of it, Joey? Or
I don't.
All right, so
not on that base, I don't.
And I'm not sure how to spell it. It's called Dulce, and let me know if you guys have heard of it, because it's been a very big hidden secret forever. Yeah. So now I've put 2 and 2 together, and I have realized, I figured out this was the base he's talking about. We don't have a picture of Dulce.
We don't.
Has anybody heard of Dulce?
I've heard that a few times.
All right, pull up what Christine just said.
Oh, I got to get back to comments.
Oh,
I do. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Right.
That's a lot.
Has anybody heard anything about Dulce? I'm curious.
I've heard a lot about it, obviously,
because they've kept this secret forever.
I mean, I've heard in the UFO talk on the circuit and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the extraterrestrials lived below, and they worked with humans, and they'll actually lived there with the humans, and the humans would when you go into their areas, because that was forbidden. And one time I think a soldier went in and they attacked aliens because they shouldn't have went in there, and there was a firefight broke out. I think this was coast to coast AM. Actually, I heard this.
I know what you're talking about.
And they had to rescue him. They sent an elite squad in, and they lost quite a lot of men rescuing, because that was sanctioned as their property. They were like, so it's like a base under whatever, and then underneath that base there's another base where the aliens live, and now and again they like each other stuff, but they shouldn't have went down. And I think they had to go and basically say, all right, come on, can we have our men back and stuff like that. And eventually they gave them back, but after quite a few people had died, and it was aliens.
Yeah, and the guy you're talking about actually lost his fingers. He was hit by a laser from one of the aliens. He went down into this thing, and they had a firefight.
Yeah.
That's supposedly Dulce.
So that's Dulce. So tell me right now, looking at that picture, I mean, first of all, there's really it's an Air Force base, right?
Yes.
Where are the airplanes?
Yeah, well, where's the runway?
Where's the runways?
I see a blimp.
And if you can see this mountain that it's up next to, this thing is where you enter the base, and everything goes down and comes up under this mountain. But for I've been to many air shows. I've been to many Air Force bases. Dude, that's no Air Force base.
Oh, without a runway.
I've heard the stories. I can't remember who told me this. It was somebody.
It is in New Mexico.
It was quite a top UFO investigator was out there, and they were watching the base, and they seen the plane coming out of land, and it just disappeared. It just disappeared as if it flew into the mountain. It was actually quite interesting, this, because the UFO guy I was talking to was actually on Facebook, and he lives out that way, and he was watching the jet coming into land. And then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like,
they open up. They open up. Yeah. They go in and they close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my dogs. I'm
but
sorry.
I've been told it's different levels. There's different levels. What you see in the surface is just like a decoy kind of thing. Yeah.
And that's going to bring us to our topic on Saturday.
Yes. I mean, that's
you want to tease that?
Like their event.
Do we want to tease that?
Aye, when you go, man, let's talk about it, because
So this leads us to underground tunnels, and everybody has opinion on underground tunnels about where. So our show on Saturday, which will be with Chris, is about. Should I tease it?
Do it.
Do it.
What do you think is under Denver Airport? Does anybody have an opinion about what's under Denver Airport? And I won't say anything else, because we'll get into that, because there's a lot of information and a lot of weird stuff, a lot of facts that we found out. And that's going to be an interesting topic on Denver. But that relates to Dulce, White Sands, Alamogordo. Everything is underground. And Elon Musk wants to build a tunnel system underground so that you can get from East Coast to West Coast like in an hour and 45 minutes. And he wants to build these underground tunnels, and they're called smart tunnels, so you won't have any collisions, you won't have any problems. And he's already got the idea in his head. I think they're being designed right now, but he hasn't revealed that to us. But there's tunnels from all over California, all over Oregon, all over Wyoming, all the way up to New York. There are underground tunnels that do many, 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 many things. But I think the central area base location, the hub, is Denver Airport. And we're going to do a show on Saturday to show you why we believe that's true.
And if I can be there, I will.
It would be great if you were there, Joey. Because I've actually got a lot of photos. What I was interested me no end about Denver Airport is the fact of the Masonic symbolism.
Yes, the airport. Yes. The designs on the walls.
Yes. it's predicting things to happen on Earth, and you date, and it is coming true somewhere. So let's keep that for Saturday. But wait till you see some of the pictures that I've got. Wow, you will be blown away.
Yes,
and
I've been through all Denver Airport, and I've looked at all those things, and it's not like walking through Phoenix Sky Harbor, seeing like Indians and Hopi things, and phoenixes and stuff. It's not that. I've been to every airport in the United States, and they all have a theme, but the Denver theme cannot be explained. And we'll show you those pictures and let you decide for yourself what the heck you think that's all about.
I mean, if you want something
Illuminati,
if you want something today before Saturday, watch, is it Jesse Ventura's documentary on it, and how much dirt was removed. I mean, they built the airport, right?
Yeah,
it was built.
Billions and billions of material were removed from underground.
They're still doing it right now.
Years. And I used to fly into that airport and watching all that construction, and there's absolutely no explanation for all of the vehicles and all of the material, all of the dirt that was removed from underneath Denver Airport. There's no explanation whatsoever. And we'll have all that information for you on Saturday.
We will.
That'll be great.
I know.
Blow your mind. Right in the middle of...
Have you guys heard about the tunnels under Washington, D.C.?
Yes, absolutely. There's tunnels everywhere.
Oh, yeah. They say they can actually, and all across America.
Yes,
coast to coast. They can bore really, really quickly.
I hear there's underground cities with thousands and thousands and thousands of people working and living down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'll be the interesting thing with Elon Musk. If he ever gets to start doing what he'd like to do with the tunnels, what would he run into, Or
I think he already knows.
We have to avoid. Yeah.
I think it's going to be revealed just like the UFO thing. I think we're going to learn as much from up above as we are going to learn from below.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All over the world.
We know more about what's above than we do what's below.
Well, we know more about space than we do the ocean, so that's only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know 8% of the oceans, and we know like 13% of space. We know more about space than we do our oceans.
I was listening to I think it was Coast to Coast the other night there, and they were talking about the moon. That this guy, who was an expert to do with aliens and stuff like that, and they were talking about the moon, and he says that the moon was actually towed from Jupiter to 15,000 years ago to outside, just after the Ice Age, that popped it here. And that's why a lot of people started to worship the moon, because it just appeared one day. It just went, oh, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And they say that it is a ship, and what they do is the towed it for each planet. It has to be pooled because it can't. It's not the same propulsion.
Right.
But we're actually being lied to. There's actually 40 other worlds in the solar system.
Yes.
And you can't.
There's not 9 planets.
It's the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're actually, when you look for them, you can't see them because they're all hidden behind like Jupiter and stuff like that. It's because of them, and they're all got civilizations on them. Oh, and this planet was like a test.
And you think about Google Maps and satellites, all the stuff you don't get to see on the surface of the Earth. It's even 10 times more protected from the space. There are things out there they will just not show us. The James Webb, the Hubble has found things out there they just will not reveal. Period.
Well, you just need to bring up, was it Oumuamua, didn't you?
Yeah.
That, Oumuamua.
Yeah. You heard about it, but there was no in-depth investigation on it.
I mean, they said it was just an asteroid. I mean, it came into the solar system, slowed down to nearly a stop.
Do we see any close-ups?
And then speed up again.
Nope, we don't see. There was no investigation on it. You think it would have been one of the most documented things in our history, and we would have gotten like high-res images and all this information? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No.
So I think we're going to have to revisit this whole topic though again, because we didn't get to the ocean bases and
good God.
And stuff. I mean, so there's it's crazy.
There's too many bases.
No, there's way too many. But it's time to wrap it up, man.
It is.
Oh, darn.
I know. So much
We'll
fun.
cover more on Saturday, I bet.
Yeah, make sure you tune in on Saturday on Chris' channel.
I've not put it up yet. I taken the last one down because I wanted to do some fiddling about. So I'm making a poster the now, so I will be putting it up sometime either tonight or tomorrow.
All right. Cool, man.
Well, thanks for all the comments. You guys are awesome. You give us a lot of information. The Masonic Temple, the, all of the information, you guys, the questions and the comments are just, very enlightening. So thank you guys for all that. It's fun to look like we're not, totally out of our freaking minds here.
No, we have the greatest viewers in the world.
We have to, and it's confirmation, and that's why we're going to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, love you guys. And we haven't picked our topic for next week, but maybe we'll carry on from your Saturday.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It'll be great.
There's so much in mine and Chris and Joey's heads that we can't get it all out soon enough. We've got so many ideas for shows, so we'll come up with something interesting, I promise.
I've actually got something, but I'll wait till after the show and tell you because I'll just tempt it for everybody. It's actually really good.
All right.
But
until then, hey, that's Chris. That's that's Papa Joey.
And that's Uncle Tim.
We see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe, alert, have fun. Thanks for watching.
Hey, if you really enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up because that really helps the channel. And then share it.
Oh, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe.
Hey, hit that alert bell so you'll know when we post a new episode.
Or if we go live, you don't want to miss that.
Hey, let us know in the comments section what topic you'd like us to cover in the future.
And always, if you have a story you'd like to share, please let us know.
Until next time,
that's Papa Joy.
And that's Uncle Tim.
Beyond the realm of the known lies the mysteries of out there.